Anthony, look at you outside in Manhattan.
I'm in Manhattan.
We're getting back to it, everybody.
I'm Anthony. Welcome to No Vacancy Live. That's my friend Glenn.
You're watching the #1 show in hospitality.
All right, Anthony. Ooh, look at that. He's moving again. Anthony, great to see you, my friend. I want to apologize to everybody right up front. Whatever I had last week on the show, I am still sick. So, excuse me.
See, the good thing was when people were wearing masks, no one got sick.
Right? I know. And the first trip I take, boom, I'm sick. Excuse me one more sec.
Okay, everyone. So I hope everybody had a nice 4th of July weekend. And,
oh, my God.
It was all of that hugging he was doing. Remember?
So, Suzanne, we can't hear you, Suzanne.
You can't hear Suzanne. She's talking about the hugging, all the love that was going on when I was at Ecotech North America, when we were together in Vegas last week. But interestingly enough, Anthony, I didn't get sick until on my way home. It must have been some of those Ecotech people who got me sick. I got my eye on you guys, and thank you very much. But it was so weird, Anthony, after not being sick for so long because we've been so alone, to suddenly be out there and to
my daughter actually was sick last night. She had a stuffy nose and she wasn't feeling good. And listen, we're taking the masks off and we're giving each other germs. It's probably a good thing.
It probably is a good thing. And let me tell you, Anthony, I know we were doing the shows together on Monday and Tuesday of last week when I was at Ecotech North America. But I got to tell you, dude, it was so exciting to see the hotel industry back at it. I know we were in Vegas the week before. Leisure was back at it. But seeing industry professionals on the supplier side and on the buyer side doing deals, things are happening. It just got me so excited, and it was really so positive feeling all around.
And it was really nice to hear you say that people were coming up to you and thanking us for the show, and that was very nice.
It was really, really nice, really, really special. I want to thank everybody out there for all of the love that you guys shared out there. Plus, Anthony, at Ecotech North America on Sunday night, I was brought in last second to host a game show, and you know how much fun that is for me. That's my dream.
Isn't that your dream? Isn't your dream to be a game show host?
I would love to be a game show host. If they could only bring back that great game show where everyone went, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, stop. That's really what I want.
You know that game show's on now. It's new. It's back.
It's probably with some celebrity who has no business.
Did I ever tell you I interviewed at the Game Show Network?
You did?
I was about 3 years ago. I was asked to come interview at the Game Show Network, and I went. I spoke to the director of creative content. She was about 9 months pregnant. Me and her were supposed to have a 20-minute meeting. We had a 3-hour meeting.
Wow.
She said, we need to get you a game show. There's 3 game shows that we have that we're looking for hosts. 2 of them aren't good for you because they're too quick. We want to give you something where you can show your personality. There's just 1 game show, and then maybe we can create a game show. We're definitely doing something with you. She had the baby the next day, and I still haven't seen her.
That's too bad. So we should definitely reach out to those people. Maybe we could do a show together or something like that. Man, that would be so much fun. But you know what else is fun, Anthony? Celebrating how great the hospitality industry is, and our good friends over at Ecotech. You know what I'm talking about. And I'll tell you what, Anthony, being at Ecotech North America last week, it would have been better if every single table had one of these Ecotech baskets right next to them. There were over 90 different suppliers being represented there. That regular garbage cans. Just think about all the waste, all of the mess that had to be cleaned up, all of those man hours that were wasted trying to keep those things clean and sanitary. They
sent me some to my house this week, and they also sent sustainable napkins and forks and
would you be referring to the family picnic pack, Anthony?
Yes, I got that.
All right. So to be fair, our good friends over at Ecotech said that this is more for the retail environment, but it's really super cool. I had to show it off. It comes with these 2 Tellurian baskets, and it comes with everything you need for a picnic over there. You got your cups, your disposable stuff. These are made from renewable materials, natural plant sugars, and stuff like that. All of your stuff. You got your plates, your napkins, all of that kind of good stuff. Makes me want to go on a picnic, Anthony.
And your garbage can, because you know when you're in the park,
Yep.
The first thing you're looking for is a garbage can, and sometimes you have to walk 3 baseball fields to find one.
And then you can take the whole thing. And when you do find one, 4 or 5 baseball fields over, you can do it. That reminds me of being in Prospect Park a lot and all of those long, long walks to find a car.
What's Prospect Park and Central Park? What do they have in common?
The same developer owns?
Yes. And which one was built first?
I think Central Park was built first, but Prospect Park is bigger and like took some of the things they learned from Central Park and made it better.
That's why I love you, man. You got all the answers.
You know who else has got all the answers? This is going to be really cool because we're going to be talking about this company called Frontdesk today, and they're focused on short stay rentals. You guys know all of these. We featured some of these companies in the past, but we wanted to revisit this topic because it's been for a little while. So, Anthony, let's welcome to the show, Mr. Jesse DePinto, who's a co-founder of Frontdesk. Jesse, great to see you, sir.
Glenn, great to be here. Huge fan. Very honored.
See, and Glenn, when you're not good looking, you can wear a T-shirt and you can carry it.
I know, dude. Seriously, honestly, Jesse. To be fair, I saw your photo and I'm like, this guy's too damn good looking. Maybe we shouldn't have him on it. But producer Dave went to the mat for you and said, "No, Glenn, it's okay. You can handle all of the good looking people on the show." So welcome.
I can't touch you and Anthony over here. That suit is as polished as it looks, and man, that background, I have to make it up for the white background here. But I like your background, Glenn. That's a beautiful background over there, speaking of beauty.
Could it be one of the Frontdesk apartments somewhere?
I think it would be.
So, Jesse, tell us the concept.
So the concept is that we're a next generation hospitality brand and property management company. And so if you think of the typical hotel industry where you have the owners, the managers, and then the brand flags, we are the manager and the brand flag in this next generation hospitality. Next generation being tech enabled, and then also apartment and home like in physical space. So we operate in over 160 apartment communities across 34 cities in the US today. And in each of those buildings, it's not a whole hotel. We only have 4 units on average per building. So we are sharing space with long-term residents. So the model is flexible living is another way they call this. Short-term rental, flexible living. You could stay with us for a day. You could stay with us for a year or anywhere in between, and you get the same level of service.
So you could stay for a year. Now, how does that work? Because a lot of places, a lot of jurisdictions have rules in there. If you stay 28 days or more, whatever it is, give or take a day, that changes the entire formula and business model, but how you have to do things. How are you able to play in both short-term and long-term simultaneously?
Absolutely. Well, those are all solvable problems, right? You need to understand the laws in your specific cities and jurisdictions, know how to treat a long-term 28-day or 30-day longer guest versus a short-term guest. But the part that is not an easy problem to fix is the physical space. So a lot of consumers today are saying they want to go on the road and travel for weeks at a time because they don't have to go back into an office. Mm-hmm. And so while they do that, they want to make sure they have a kitchen. They don't want to eat out every day. And so that physical footprint of having the kitchen, the washer, dryer, the parking, that ends up being the tough problem to solve. So what we've done is solved that problem by making a business model that works within multifamily apartment communities that is an asset to the guests there. So there's a lot of nuance in there, and you're right. It's a tricky problem to solve, but hey, the lines are blurring between how you live and how you stay. And so we're trying to be at the forefront of that.
So to Glenn's point, if you stay 45 days in a hotel in New York City, you have to basically check out and they have to re-register you. Is that the same thing in your apartments?
So it depends on when you place the reservation. And so if you're placing a reservation for one night, what's funny is we still run background checks on every single guest, every single tenant, because whether they stay for one night or 30 nights. And the reason that is because we're sharing space with long-term residents. So we have to abide by the rules of these communities. So we do that by default. The difference is we don't have to run a credit check, and we don't need to unless they're staying for 30 nights or longer.
Right.
And so, there are different, and we're improving this every day, and we don't claim to know the secret formula here. But it's all things that technology and automation can solve. And Hence the T-shirt. We have a lot of developers and technology nerds at our company. I have to play the part here.
Yeah, of course. I like that. All right, so there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about here in terms of the types of people that you're going after, the types of technology that you're putting into place in order to make ownership easier for you guys while enhancing the ability for you to deliver customers while not necessarily being in the same building at the same time. So let's talk a little bit more about these digital nomads that are out there and people that are increasingly becoming digital nomads. Over the last year and a half, Anthony and I have been reaffirming our belief that digital nomads are the future. They were just temporarily put on ice for a second. Now it's up to me, Jesse. You too have big belief that this is going to not just be a trend that we thought was going to be something, but the next big way that we're all going to be living our lives. How do you see that?
Absolutely. So I've always seen the pandemic of 2020 as one of the biggest, one of the most influential impacts on the travel industry at large. Before the pandemic, people were confined to their office and they had to go on vacation. They got to go on vacation maybe 2 or 4 weeks a year where they could get out of the office, out of their city and go explore. Humans are wired to explore all the time. We have this roaming instinct in us and we feel like can find rabbits or hamsters on a wheel if we're sitting at our desk. But now the pandemic has forced most employers to allow remote work or at least a flexible work, right? Where if you're out of the office and you're on vacation, you enjoy your 2-week vacation, but why come home? Why not stay there another couple weeks? Yeah, so you have some traveling digital nomads, the professional workers, remote workers on one end of this, on that a very far end of the spectrum. So there's 2 ends of the spectrum. One is people that are living in short-term rentals, and the other end of the spectrum is people that are only traveling in the short-term rentals and other suites, but for longer durations. And we're seeing all of that. It's still too early to be seeing whether everybody's going to become a digital nomad, right? I think that even if you're unshackled from your cubicle, you still, a lot of people have kids, a lot of people have schools, and there's a natural ebb and flow to where people can stay. But so there is a very small target that we're keeping an eye on, which is young professionals, people that don't have life commitments. They're still trying to grow their career. And now you can grow your career remotely, but it's still really hard to manage a family and grow a family remotely, always on the road. So that part is still new and we're keeping an eye on it. But what we are seeing is that people are staying for longer periods of time. It doesn't have to be a digital nomad for somebody to work and live and play in our unit. They can, here, I'll throw some numbers at you. Our average length of stay, it used to be about 2.5 nights pre-pandemic, about 2019. Most guests would stay with us on average 2.5 nights. Sometimes
going to town for business, going to a conference, whatever it might be.
Exactly. It was about 1/3 leisure, 1/3 business, 2/3 leisure. Mm-hmm. In the midst of the pandemic, that in 2021, 2020, during the pandemic, that average length of stay was quadrupling, if not higher, much longer. People were staying, traveling nurses, the only people that could stay. Now that's come down and it's stabilized, but still it's twice the average stay length that it was in 2019. And so we're seeing some real macro trends, and that might still continue to come down. We're keeping an eye on when does it plateau, but it certainly seems like a sticky feature of the pandemic.
So if your length of stay is 2 or 3 or 4 nights, what's the difference between you and a hotel?
The difference is twofold. We're more conducive for group travel. So whether you're going there with a spouse that you want to watch Netflix in separate rooms, or you're going there with 2 couples or a family, you have it's like the extended stays or some of the other hotels that have more living space. The other way, so we're very similar to a hotel in many regards, and I think hotels are often overlooked for this segment because they're not up with the technology. So that's the second part where we're differentiated from a hotel, not just the space but the technology. Not just the majority of our users, but 100% of our users and our guests, our loyal guests, check in by themselves, and so there's no front desk at any of our units. It is secure access codes, criminal screen, background check. We have figured out a way to automate the entire process, and our guests love us because they can go from their airport to their room within however long it takes for them to get there on the Uber, and doing all seamlessly through our mobile optimized website. And so technology and the living space are the two areas. But there's a lot of hotels, admittedly, that do a lot of these things. You know, I was in the hospitality industry before starting Frontdesk, doing smart locks for hotels brands, Marriott's, Hilton's, Hyatt's. So they were getting into self check-in before the pandemic, and so none of this is necessarily new. I think what's changed the game is, you know, Airbnb is now becoming the single downloaded app for traveling millennials and Gen Zs. And so really there seems to be a big generational thing in terms of where do you get the inventory?
Right. And thank you for recognizing Gen Z exists. We're still having a hard time educating people that these people are in college right now and even getting into the to the workforce. So speaking about that, our good friend Mark Ergang and president of the Long Island Hospitality Association says, Jesse, interesting concept. Who's your biggest competitor? Airbnb, hotels, rental communities? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we group ourselves in a hybrid category between hotels and pure vacation rentals. On one end, you have the Marriott's, the Hilton's, the very branded experience, right? Traditional hospitality. On the other hand, you have the Wild West of these short-term rental marketplaces with people, amateur hosting communities popping up all over the place. And you might have clean bed sheets, you might have clean towels, maybe not. And maybe you have to pack your own shampoo. But there's still a market for that. Where we fit is in between, where people want the best of both worlds. So they want the consistency of a hotel, but the uniqueness and experience of a. So our biggest competitors, we look at, obviously we compete against, you know, hotels and Airbnbs both. So we can't ignore that. But in terms of our market share, where we're trying to be the largest short-term rental brand in the world by 2030, and that means that we're looking at these newer operators. So
you're looking at companies like Sonder, for example.
Yep,
right.
Sonder would be our biggest competitor. Stay Alfred, which that chair and that couch behind you, that used to be a Stay Alfred.
Yeah, you got their New Orleans and Pittsburgh properties and stuff like that.
That's right. So that property you're in, quote unquote, is 1627 on the Strip in Pittsburgh. And so Stay Alfred went out of business. They were a competitor neck and neck with Sonder, and they had a very risky master leasing type of model where they took on too much debt, too much growth, and we're just focused on long-term sustainability. When they went out of business in the pandemic, we picked up about 3 different properties of theirs. So yeah, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, and Indianapolis. They used to be one of our biggest competitors. So we don't have that many big competitors anymore. We are the third largest in our category in the U.S.
Wow.
And you know, that comes from being number 7 about a year and a half ago.
Anthony?
And what's the difference between that and a year ago? What marketing are you doing to get in people's space to let them know you're around?
Yeah, so a lot of it is just sustainability. And so we've always been focused. We come from the Midwest. Milwaukee is and Wisconsin is our headquarters. You know, we take a different approach than some of the Silicon Valley peers of ours. It's not growth at all costs for us. We have 200 plus employees. We have many shareholders, but we also have many guests that are counting on us and many properties that are counting on us. So we need to make sure we're running a profitable business at the end of the day that can sustain the growth and not just grow for the sake of growth. So just continuing to offer high-class service. Now, I mean, we focus very heavily on our brand reputation. That's both on the owner side and the guest side. So on the guest side, our average NPS is 72, which is uncommon, and we're at the higher end of the range in our category and in all hospitality categories. So we have a vertically integrated supply chain where we have our own in-house cleaners and our own in-house technology, and that end-to-end experience creates a really great guest experience. But on the owner side, we have the same high touch end-to-end experience where we are ensuring that we are doing everything we can to be the best tenants in that property and that the best partners to maximize their yield and ultimately drive more revenue for them to their bottom line.
With the shortage in staff,
Yeah.
How are you going about getting the apartments cleaned?
It's really tough. Yeah, we are having to innovate new ways. Our COO is incredibly innovative,
Right.
and she has worked with our HR manager and more ads on Google for hiring cleaners, more incentives to work. There's no rocket science behind what we've been doing other than putting more focus and attention on it. Because you're right, it's been a major challenge, and I never thought that hiring enough people would be a challenge if you would ask me a year ago. But sure enough, that's the bottleneck for growth right now for us today.
And Jesse, it's even odder for you guys because I would assume you have fewer employees on average than other companies because you're not filling up these whole buildings. You don't need anyone on site. You just need somebody to come in and clean, plus the executives that you have over there. That's really interesting to me. So what about, Marcus also asked about costs you experience as a provider and who is your target customer? We already talked about that, but so when it comes to costs, are you buying, are you leasing? How do these apartments work for you guys?
So we are a management company as it relates to the ownership group.
So somebody owns it, seeks you out.
That's right. That's right. So we don't own any of the properties. We target owners of multifamily apartments or developers who are on the fence, whether this is an apartment community or a hotel or a mixed use. And so what we're ultimately doing is trying to drive the yield for those owners. And doing that by being the best management company and vertically integrated brand as we can be. And so it looks a lot like a revenue sharing HMA, hotel management agreement style relationship with our owners. In some cases, we offer, we put our money where our mouth is and offer some level of rent guarantee, whether it's 50% or more, depending on how confident we are in our underwriting. But we are, not a leasing company, and that's, something we've learned from our peers is very, very prone to failure.
Yeah, that's fascinating to me. It sounds like you've also got a little bit of what the good folks over at Y Hotels do. One of the things that their cornerstone is they go in and they create temporary pop-up hotels. So brand new construction, they've got all these vacant units. The company comes in. It sounds like you guys could do something like that as well when these owners are trying to figure out what they want to be.
Yeah, the difference is I think we're trying to be a long-term asset to that community and to that property, whereas Y Hotel is solving a very specific problem, which is helping that property owner in that lease-up stage to stabilize that asset. And then once they stabilize, they move out. So they rent all of their furniture. We buy all of our furniture. And when you rent it, the cost economics just don't make sense long-term. But very innovative company, very, very similar, and we're familiar with them as well.
Yeah, so how do you get people from the business community to stay? Because we know that Airbnb, it's great, but it's really leisure. That type of segment is kind of leisure. And people like me and Glenn who travel a lot for business, we just don't have time for if there's not a standard that's perfect. We need to know, our brand of hotel that we go to, we know what to expect, shower head towels, what time room service is open, what we can grab at check-in, all that kind of stuff. So how do you convince a business traveler that this is an option?
Well, so the first part is we don't want to convince every business traveler because in many cases, a hotel is a better option, right? If you're looking for that consistency and you want to be in the central business district, and you're okay getting, delivery or eating out every night, that's fine. Who we're trying to target is the either young professional business traveler who's used to the Airbnb experience or a business traveler that is willing to try something new. Even though we have a very consistent brand identity and guest experience, every property is unique. So it's really hard to manage that brand standards across 160 properties and guarantee you'll have a hot shower in the morning of every property because some of them, they have quirks to them, and that's the nuance of the short-term rental market. But there are ways, we're trying to target more of the leisure traveler. People are staying for extended periods of time, maybe with their family, maybe with their spouse or significant other. The other way is kind of establishing the brand identity. We're partnered with Marriott Homes and Villas, for example. And so the majority of our inventory is bookable via Marriott, and you can redeem those Bonvoy points, which is a very new, exciting development of ours. We're seeing a ton of traction with. And for the business traveler, that does two things. One is a lot of people like their Bonvoy points, right? No secret that that's valuable to people. But the second is they get that credibility that this is not just any other Airbnb management company. They actually have, Marriott doesn't let everybody on their platform, Homes and Villas. It's a very curated process that you have to make the cut. And not all of our inventory did. And so for what we're trying to do is match that business traveler with the specific property in the best way possible. And sometimes they want to find us through Marriott Homes and Villas. Sometimes they want to take a bet on us on our own direct booking website. Sometimes they prefer Airbnb, and we want to take them where they're most comfortable and meet them at that spot.
So my question is, and Jesse, you can answer this, or Glenn, you can answer this. How long do you think we'll be using the word leisure?
I'd argue it's too long already, but go on.
I would agree with you, but we need to come up with a different word.
If I hear that word one more time, that word and moist are two words I can live without.
All right, so what are we going to call it, Anthony? What's
I don't know. I asked you,
this
Jesse. You're the co-founder of Frontdesk. I'm just a guy with a podcast.
All right, I'll let you know when we are awesome.
But that is the most annoying word in our industry right now.
But it's a real one, and it's a real trend. It's probably one of the more exciting trends in post-pandemic travel. Is this bleisure segment? So love it or hate it, it's you got to pay attention to it. It's real.
All right. We'll do something. We'll shorten it so it's like FIT, foreign international travel. We'll shorten it to make it more palatable.
BLT.
What's that?
BLT.
BLT.
Also delicious.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Business, leisure, travel.
BLT. You know what? The next time I'm doing the marketing plan for a hotel, I'm going to say, how about the BLT business? And they'll go, what's the BLT business? And I'll say it's the business, leisure, travel. No, dude, I think you did it.
Thank you. So, Jesse, one of the things that you're talking about here is technology, but we've been talking outward technology. What makes your technology so special that you could operate all these disparate properties all over the place and create some cohesion and save money at the same time?
Yeah, great question. We had to build it from scratch. There was nothing that existed to meet the specific needs. It's a really unique business. Wow. There's two uniquenesses. One is you're operating in apartment communities with other renters. And so you want to be very conscious about their resident experience. It's not just a hotel, it's a mixed use community. And so things like a security and trust and safety technology like criminal background screening, which I mentioned, noise monitoring, we have decibel monitors in every unit, and we have a follow-through process to ensure that there's no parties. There's so much safe, there's access control, right? The whole automated keyless entry self-check-in experience takes incredible logic to make an end-to-end seamless guest experience that's also high security. So nothing existed and then there's another reason it's very different than a hotel, which is you have a distributed inventory. Like I said, 4 units per building on average. And so the way in which you go about operating those units, we don't have a hotel staff at a specific unit. Our cleaners in Milwaukee, I just saw one of them take off today. They meet at a self-storage unit in the middle of the city and split from there. They get their linens, they get their towels. So you have this kind of centralized but very distributed management model. And so we had to build it from scratch, and nothing existed on the market. We have a product called Frontdesk Flex, and this is one of the future waves of growth for us, is that there are many other future front desks that are emerging right now. And this whole notion of kind of soft brand boutique hotels, this is percolating into the way of short-term rentals.
Interesting. So you're thinking about this as a business beyond what seems obvious right now.
It's the next explosive wave of growth for us. We feel that we've done it better than most in the industry, better than all in the industry. And what empowered us to do that is our incredible technology. We have very great people, very great operators. At the end of the day, we've gone through all these learning experiences, built it back into our technology, and offering this full stack technology product where you don't have to cobble together 10 different tools to try to get something. It has everything from dynamic pricing algorithm, which overperforms the market by 15 to 20%. We have, and that's a whole business by itself. That we have 5 competitors, and we have that built into our PMS, into our channel manager, into our guest automation screening platform and self-check-in experience. It's the operating system for a hotel. In the hotel world, it's the equivalent of Opera connected to an Alice or a Hot Sauce connected to another pricing algorithm. It's the operating system for the next generation hospitality.
Wow, that seems like it has potential to be pretty disruptive over there. It sounds like it took a lot of time and resources to put together as well.
It's taken the 4.5 years of our existence. Every experience we go through, we put it back into the technology. And so, it's been in inception since day one. And we love the empowering other brands. So we don't think that Frontdesk is going to be the only brand that takes over the world of short-term rental travel. We think there's going to be thousands, if not tens of thousands, that are popping up. We've seen such a rebirth of people, of hospitality startups and entrepreneurs getting excited post-pandemic, despite having seen the wreckage that the pandemic caused. They see the opportunity in the future, and we've never seen more innovation happening in the space. We want to be the pipeline that connects those different dots in the new industry.
Right. Richard is saying, is front desk corporate or leisure? He said about 1/3 corporate, 2/3 leisure.
Pre-pandemic, it was. It's skewing more leisure now. We'll see where it stables.
That seems to be what everybody's experiencing right now. Although it's good to see, when I was at Ecotech North America, there was another group doing another meeting over there at the JW Marriott in Aventura. So businesses are getting back to meetings. It's just not as many as we'd like at this particular point.
So nobody asks about the BLT acronym though here. Business
I think Evan's agreeing with it. And Michael Weinberg is saying, didn't MMGY coin the term leisure? I don't know. It might have been them, but part of me thinks it was my partner, Sean Worker, on the Adapter series, who had leisure stuff going on like 10 years ago when he was with Bridge Street Global Hospitality.
Yeah, but the most important thing is, it doesn't matter. It was here before the pandemic. You came up with BLT, and from now on, the market segmentation for our industry's BLT. That's it. Happened on this show. You're the man,
Jesse. Before we wrap up a little bit, where are you headed to next? What are some of your growth aspirations? Obviously, you've done a great job expanding to all these cities, but there are so many cities that you have not yet leveraged the opportunity in.
Yeah, so we still see an incredible opportunity in the United States. And so whether it's up market into tier 1 gateway markets or down market into tier 3, tier 4, there's so much opportunity in urban cores across America that our focus just continues to be there for now. And then the technology side is the other, like I said, wave of growth that we're always looking for more short-term rental brands that we can empower with our technology. And so, hiring is always a thing. So I'll make the plug that we are growing fast. We are well-funded, and we're looking for top talent, whether you're a cleaner or a developer. So that's where we're going. We need more people like you.
Thanks. Sorry, I'm just laughing because producer said put that little scroll up at the bottom of the screen. So I think that's really cool, Jesse. What does it take to get involved in a different city? What is that process? What is that process like? Find an apartment and go, this is pretty cool, make a deal, and then boom, you're good to go. Is it that simple?
You mean for front desk business or short-term rentals in general?
Front desk business, your business.
For front desk business, we have a well-oiled machine. We have an operations team. We have a project management team. We have a fleet of project managers driving around the country today in their own F-150 pickup trucks, going from storage unit to storage unit and furnishing these units. And so it's much more seamless now than it ever has been. You learn a thing or two with 34 cities. The biggest thing is trying to hire top talent and partnering with the best properties in the urban cores. And so that's what we always have our eyes out for, the best properties that are.
That's your problem. You're going after top talent. Go after medium talent like I did with Glenn.
It was easy to find us. Jesse, what's the next city you're entering?
Detroit, Michigan was the most recent that we announced. Prior to that, we just added New Orleans, Savannah, Nashville, and Austin within the past quarter.
Such great cities. Awesome.
Yeah, Nashville and Austin. Too bad they're not growing cities.
Too bad, right? Yeah, we certainly plan to stick around those ones for a while.
Yeah, for sure. This is really, really interesting. And thank you so much for sharing with us why it's so different than some of these other products that have come out.
Thank you.
This is such a side of the business that's filled with nuance that people don't fully understand. You told your story absolutely great. Mike McManus says, what a great time to be in hospitality, especially for a guy like you with a growing business. Congratulations. How do people find you? How do we learn about you? Give a good shameless plug there, Jesse.
Sure. Frontdeskstays.com. Always love to hear from you. Find us on LinkedIn, find us on Instagram, find us on Facebook. Frontdesk Stays. My name is Jesse DePinto. Always happy to reach out. And whether you are whether you're a medium to high caliber talent looking for a role, or you're looking for a great place to stay, across a network of different suites, check us out at frontdeskstays.com.
Excellent, Jesse. Thanks so much, and find him on LinkedIn as well. Do some business with this guy. Thanks, man.
Glenn, Anthony, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I'm incredibly honored to be here.
Right. Well, hopefully we're on the road real soon. Take care, man. Real fascinating. I love featuring up and coming companies and new people. It's just such a different way that they approach this business.
And you're realizing, in all the people we talk to, in all the different businesses that we're in within the hospitality business, it comes down to technology.
Yep.
If you can harness technology, you can make money in this business. If you don't do the technology right, this is a tough business.
Yeah. So it's good. Super creative. I wish them a lot of luck. What do you guys out there think about this idea? Is this something that you would want to get involved in? Is this the type of direction that you think that the industry is going to be moving in? And Anthony, I see this as a great opportunity for people that want to get into the hotel business, for example, but don't necessarily have the capital resources to get into the hotel business.
It's a great way. It's a great way. And it reminds me of your business of your barbecue and smokehouse. So what did you barbecue and smokehouse this weekend, even though you were sick?
Oh, dude, it was rough. It was really rough being not feeling too well. I made some smoked chickens yesterday though. So that was really nice. And also,
so what do you, how does the chicken hold the cigarette?
in its little wing. Too funny. But no, it rained all weekend for the most part. So yesterday I smoked the chicken, but I made this great lasagna, Anthony. I don't know if you would be proud of me, but
you know my rule. You know my rule about making lasagna.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I used prefab noodles too.
Do you have an Italian person's birth certificate?
No, but we've been through this before. Long Island Jews and Italians are the same thing, except for the Jesus factor. All right, that's all.
Right. No, I'm sure you made great lasagna. Was it really good?
Yeah, it was really good.
My mother, at the end of us kind of growing up and leaving the house, she started putting, I don't know if I told you, boiled eggs in lasagna.
Yeah.
Now this is a Sicilian thing. It's a real old school Italian thing. Do you do the boiled eggs in the lasagna?
No, I did not.
Yeah, don't ever do that.
No.
I almost divorced my mother.
We did do. My kids made me. My kids saw this video online though about this particular sandwich, and it included you put down a big seaweed wrap like you would be making a sushi roll, right? And you divide it into 4 sections. In one section you put white rice. In one section you put Spam. In one section you put cheese, and in the other one you put a fried egg, sunny side up. Fold it all together, eat it up. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. It seems like TikTok is the new Food Network.
Yeah, we're not going to be making that again. But we tried it.
Well, you know what I found? My wife got them, but I didn't do them. You know those peanut butter and jelly pockets that you find in the airports?
Yes.
Okay, so somebody online took one of those, put a hole in it like a donut, put it in cinnamon, and then fried it like a donut. And apparently it's like the best donut you'll ever have. So I have them in my freezer, but I haven't tried it.
Sounds good. Maybe you should go do that as soon as you get home.
And I also learned that if you take frozen cherries and put them in a glass of water, the water freezes automatically, immediately.
What? Really?
Yep.
I'm going to try that tonight.
And also, if you have very, very thick hair and it's wet and you go outside in Arizona this weekend with 115-degree weather with no humidity, apparently your hair dries immediately.
Wow. I should have. I would like to have seen that because
a lot of things I learned on TikTok.
Your hair, Anthony.
I've learned a lot of things on TikTok. I had an addiction to TikTok and then I stopped because I'm too busy. But literally, if I'm going to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning from 1 to 1:30, I'm using TikTok.
Excellent. I love it, Anthony. I know you're out there having some meetings today, and I've got to go and deal with a bunch of stuff here at the house. So I want to thank you guys for watching. It is July. We're having a lot of great fun all month long. I'm looking forward to being at the Alice conference, AHOA conference. I'm going to be doing some live broadcasts from Atlantic City because of the fish shows. And then we're going to Mexico. I'm going to Mexico. That'll be fun. A lot of good times, Anthony.
When are you going to Mexico?
Going to Mexico August 17th.
For vacation?
Sort of. Yes.
Oh, I don't know if you passed that by me, Glenn, but okay.
I didn't. I'm going to take the family to the Planet Hollywood Resort in Mexico, but don't worry, we'll still be broadcasting a few of those days.
Oh, great. Well, I'm here in New York City having meetings, and one of the things that I get questioned every single time is when are we going to do another TV show? And then Glenn, every once in a while I say, stay tuned.
Yep.
I'll say what I say all the time, stay tuned.
So hold on. So Anthony, when are you going to be doing another TV show?
Stay tuned. But you know what's so interesting is when we first started the TV show, you would stay tuned, you'd be able to find us. So wherever we wind up, it'll be on one of the 6,000 channels. Now, when you have a channel that we haven't heard of, it's more popular than ABC, CBS, or NBC. That's the problem. There's so much content out there. Yep. I have a friend of mine, I would name nameless, who was on TV for many, many years, has a TV show. I literally try to find it. I can't find it.
Right. Yeah. Well, fortunately, you guys know where to find us every day at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Not Saturday, not Sunday, and not Friday.
Right. Exactly. Monday through Thursday. All right, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We really appreciate you every single day that we're on the air. So remember, you've only got one life, so blaze on, and
put the slide up.
Oh, thank you, Suzanne. All right, let me do that part again. Hey, everybody, make sure you listen to the audio version of our podcast. You listen to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever you like to get your shows. That's right, we're where you want to be. Make sure you download that audio feed. You know it's busy. You know you're getting back to it. It's summertime. You want to listen, not watch? Well, now you've got that opportunity. All right, Anthony, should we wrap this up for reals now?
Let's wrap it up.
All right, everybody, you got one life, so blaze on, and
be kind to yourself.
And I'm going to put this graphic back on.
And
See
don't
you all later.
Over